The late 1950s and early 1960s saw the beginning of a renewal for downtown Sarasota. Sarasota's bayfront has seen many improvements since the early 1960s, from Marina Jack to Golden Gate Point to the new fixed-span Ringling Bridge. The bridge is loved by visitors and residents alike. Sarasota websites are proud to display this beautiful landmark. It has quickly become the symbol of downtown Sarasota. Thousands walk, jog, and ride their bikes across it every day. However, it wasn't always that way. Less than 15 years ago, it was time to replace the old Ringling drawbridge. Some wanted another drawbridge, while a few envisioned the concept of a new fixed-span bridge, creating continuous traffic flow and avoided periodically halting the flow of traffic, sometimes emergency traffic, when raising the bridge for tall-masted sailboats. One resident, Gil Waters, saw the vision for the fixed-span bridge and created the Good Bridge Committee in 1997. With the support of the FCCI Insurance Group and the Gulf Coast Builders Exchange. The fixed-span replacement bridge was also supported by the Florida Department of Transportation in an effort to create continual traffic flow. However, this would require that the bridge be taller. The City Commission and the local largest newspaper were not in agreement. A lawsuit ensued. Finally, the FDOT, GILL, and the Good Bridge Committee won out. The new fixed-span bridge was completed in 2003. Much to the amazement of the opposition, everyone not only loved the bridge, but they quickly adopted it as a symbol for downtown Sarasota. As you can see, people on both sides of the bridge regularly traverse the intercoastal waterway on foot, rollerblading, or biking. I can remember a time growing up when I used to fish off of the old drawbridge. I could go for hours and never see a soul, most certainly not a bicycle. Now look at all the activity. As the movie so aptly put it, build it and they will come. Once again, Gil Waters has been proven correct in his vision to make Sarasota a more attractive city, a world-class city that can draw tens of thousands of visitors and residents downtown every day.
Chris, do you see how narrow it is along this stretch from Golden Gate Point all the way down to the west end of Marina Jack's? It's so dangerous.
Well, yes, it is very narrow, and I hadn't thought about it before, but yes, it would be dangerous for anyone walking along here.
You know, it's been a major concern for residents for many years, including the 700 residents that live in Golden Gate Point, not to mention all those that walk over from Bird Key and St. Armands. And on top of that, look how barren it is. It would be so nice to have a mix of landscaping and trees, and even something that created a canopy effect to shield walkers from the sunlight.
Yes, I think it would, but also we've got an issue over here that if it's dangerous for the curb and the narrowness, we need some landscaping or some kind of buffer to protect the pedestrians as they're walking along here.
You know, Chris, it's not even the cars I worry about. Look how thick this area is. I mean, you can't see who or what is coming around that corner until it's almost too late. Just imagine if you and I were a mom pushing a stroller or a disabled person who couldn't move very quickly when that cyclist were to hit us. Now, I know this county is doing all it can to provide some landscaping, but in order to achieve the level of beautification that this area deserves, we really need support from all residents of the county. You know, residents could become a member of a new organization called Friends of the Bayfront. And through that organization, they could donate a tree or some landscaping or even help fund replacements when trees die.
Well, and you know, people would want to say that this should be paid for with our tax dollars, but our tax dollars are at work. It's just there isn't enough money in order to create the level of beautification that we deserve. Now, I know that if all the residents will get involved, that we will have a beautiful world-class bayfront.
Let's get started to make the improvement, and I just know others will join in.
The primary purpose of the 1959 plan consisted of constructing the Bayfront Park, Marina Jack, docking and fueling facilities, and converting Main Street into a walkable downtown city center. These two projects were to be connected by a pedestrian overpass over US 41. Both were designed to bring visitors and tourists to downtown, revitalizing commerce and increasing much-needed tax revenues. Interestingly, the Bayfront Park and Marina Jack were completed, but a walkable main has met with 50 years of resistance. The overpass connecting the Bayfront with Lower Main Street was and is considered vital to shape Main Street's identity as a waterfront commercial district. Today, the Bayfront is the #1 most visited destination in Sarasota County. The 1959 planners recognized that the Bayfront would become a central attraction and draw, and seamlessly connecting Main Street would be an added economic benefit for both. Without the overpass, US 41 has created a boundary dividing the Bayfront from Main Street. Over time, US 41 has become dangerous as a high volume of traffic moving at a relatively high rate of speed limit tourists and residents' desire to traverse the intersection. Here we are at the entrance to Marina Jack on US 41. Right behind me is Lower Main Street. As I just mentioned to you, the original planners of the 1959 plan wanted to combine Bayfront and Lower Main Street with a pedestrian overpass. The pedestrian overpass is being carefully designed to match the slow rising grade and slope of the beloved John Ringling Bridge. Gil Waters led that fight because he knew that it would accentuate the beauty of downtown. But you can once again join with Gil in the fight to complete the 59 plan by making Main Street pedestrian friendly and completing the overpass that ties the Bayfront with Lower Main Street. Why don't you come with me over to the safety of Main Street and let's take a look at what we're going to do. Marina Jack is behind me. Now, the 1959 plan calls for the overpass to begin in this area here and safely transport pedestrians over that very busy and dangerous highway. When you would cross, you might want to stop to look at the traffic or a beautiful sunset, which is new every single day. To get an update version of the plan, there is someone that I would like you to meet. I'd like to introduce you to Brett Parker of Parker Walters Group, who painstakingly adapted the 1959 plan to drawings superimposed over photographs. This is the first time that the 59 plans have been seen publicly because the original architects did not have the funds to produce the drawings. Brett, could you take a few minutes just to describe to us what your adaptation for the lower beautification of Main Street is?
I'd be happy to. When Gil approached me about implementing the balance of the 59 plan, there was two outstanding items that were non-complete. One was the pedestrianizing of Main Street itself, and the second was the pedestrian overpass to the Bayfront. We took some images of Lower Main Street. This is Lower Palm, which is where we are actually standing, and this is also the same section. And we introduced all brick streets and sidewalks, and we introduced these electronic bollards. The bollards rise out of the ground and allow the pedestrian to take over the street at certain times of day. Example, Friday night walk, the people pretty much take it over anyway. So if the bollards are out of the ground and the pedestrians have taken over the street, it becomes a pedestrian plaza. Here you can see another implementation, again with the bollards up and tables and chairs and umbrellas and so forth going on in the function.
How are the bollards controlled?
They're electric.
Okay.
There's a button, you push it and they come out.
Okay, so
and if we have a vehicular circulator, a little tram, they can have a detector on it, so they drive up, the one bollard goes down, they drive through, and it comes right back up.
So really, you can plan the times of day that you want pedestrian only and when you want vehicular traffic.
You can plan it ahead, and you can do it literally spur of the moment.
Right.
We have some mechanical ones that are in storage. They've never been used in the city. They're still in storage. These, you flip the switch and they're up.
So this really isn't a new look because this reminds me a lot of North Lemon. So we do have segments of downtown that already have this beautiful appearance.
North Lemon has exactly this implementation, less the bollards. It's a brick street, it's a brick sidewalk, there's no curbs. And that allows, when the pedestrian's taking over the space, it allows a much better experience. So on Saturday morning, the north lemon half for the farmer's market is excellent. The second half on the south, which has curbs, is a little tighter. So next time you go to the farmer's market, see what it's like on the north side, see what it's like on the south side, and you'll understand exactly what we're talking about.
Absolutely. Now I notice on the very south end of Lower Main Street that you've got a rendering leading over to Marina Jack. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It's a foregone conclusion that eventually we're going to have a vehicular roundabout at that intersection. That's been in the plan now for a while. So we looked at how do we get the people across from the bayfront over to Lower Main. So we put a pedestrian roundabout just above the vehicular one. The vehicular one's on the ground, the people are up here. Then we simply use long, shallow graded ramps, which by the way is the same pitch as the bridge. So if you can walk the bridge, if you can bicycle the bridge, you'll be happy to come over this way.
Thank you, Brent, for helping us understand how beautiful Main Street will look, and most importantly, how we can safely navigate US 41 while enjoying the exciting new overpass. Wouldn't it be wonderful to see what a small group of 1950s architect and Gil Waters envisioned finally come to pass? Let's all work together to finally connect Marina Jack to Main Street with a gentle sloping pedestrian overpass. It will be as beautiful and well received as the new John Ringling fixed span bridge. The best tribute we could offer to Gil Waters would be to finish the overpass in his lifetime. Thank you for joining with me today to make a 53-year-old vision a reality.